like exhausted. Like these last 2 days, college, now this, exhausted. Hey, we got a W. And welcome in, folks. It's episode 186. We're happy. We won. We did win. It was just insane how we got there, but we got there. Show here. I wasn't even going to like record today. I literally texted Steven about, I don't know, an hour ago. I was like, hey, you want to come on at 7 tonight? Because I'm not sure if I want to go tomorrow or not. Mike's still out of town, as y'all know. And Mike was trying to get to a bar today to see the game. He went to like 3 different spots. They didn't have it anywhere. So he just had to kind of go by my text and go by social media and everything about what was going on. So, but he will be back on Wednesday for the preview show for the Bucks. But yeah, man. So welcome in. If y'all are new to the show, again, Mike, my normal co-host, isn't here. Steven, this is your 3rd time in a week?
Yeah, something like that. But hey, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And I think we'll have Saivion coming through pretty soon too. He was here, but he's having connection issues. So Saivion Mixson from the Sporting News will be here. So yeah, man, just like I said, if y'all are here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate y'all coming out, hanging with us here on a Sunday night. We're going to try to get done before this Ravens and Buffalo Bills game, and because that's going to be fun to watch. Should be fun to watch.
Yeah.
For tonight, But yeah, man. So what did you? Where do you want to start, dude? I mean, like, how do we start this?
As much as we're going to talk about the game and what went wrong and what could have gone better, let's just take a second to appreciate those bums came into our city and we sent them home packing. And honestly, sometimes it's kind of sweet because as much as we were stressed, they were also stressed and they went home disappointed as hell. So, as much as, there's stuff we could have done better, anytime you can win a divisional game against your biggest rivals and break their heart in 2 with a freaking game-winning field goal, man, I got to just appreciate that. Because they were like, man, we got this. They're probably going to stop us on 3rd down. We'll get the 4th down. We'll talk about why, like, them scoring on 3rd down was probably pretty good. But at the end of the day, man,
Absolutely.
We beat our biggest rivals. We tore their heart out. We're 2-2. I think that's where most people had us after 4 games. That's where I would have had us. So, I mean,
yeah.
It's easier to sit there and say, this is what we need to improve on after a win than a loss. So, because, I mean, vibes would be terrible if we would have lost that game.
Oh, God,
man.
Dude.
But
it was already starting to burn down, like on Twitter, at least. It was, it was going that direction. And then, Koo saved us at the end there. But yeah, just offensively, we started off the first drive was like, okay, well, I mean, wasn't great. And then we punt, and thank you, Rashid Shaheed, for fumbling that and allowing us to score that touchdown, because I mean that ended up being huge. That and along with obviously Judon knocking the pass up in the air and Troy intercepting it and taking off for a touchdown. Both those 2 things basically won the game for us. I mean, obviously Koo made the kick that won it, but without those 2 opportunities, because their offense literally scored 0 touchdowns, we would be seeing a different team.
Oh, we had a scored touchdown, and they decided to hold on Jake Matthews. That was nonsense. Yeah, but whatever.
Bullshit.
Whatever.
Yeah, I was just watching the replay of that before we came on. I was like, and I mean that call on Jake, that happens every play in the NFL. Like literally, you can call that if you want to call it. You can call that every single play. Yeah. Like that was so soft of a call, but whatever. We, that was a good call, and we should have had a touchdown, but we didn't. Yeah. And and Kirk said it in the post game, like you can't. You're going to get to a point where you're not relying on that one decision by a ref to decide the game for you. You want to actually execute a little bit better so your offense doesn't have to worry about that. But yeah, I mean, the good thing was, or one of the good things is the offensive line protection, man. Like Kirk was having all day.
Yeah, shout out to them because I'm sure going into the game we were all kind of worried with 2 injuries to both your center and your right tackle. That's hard to sit there and pass pro, well all day. And they didn't even really, from what I could tell, they obviously had, Bijan picked up some blitzes and whatnot, and Algier did, and they did a little bit of chipping. But for the most part, from what I could tell, they were just going, full slide or 5-out protection, where it's pretty much just on the offensive line to hold up. And they did a really good job doing that, So credit to those guys, and especially, in the run game too. I mean, towards the end there, obviously Algier – I love Algier. That's my guy. I bought his jersey when he was a rookie.
I love it, man.
Love Algier. He showed out, but that all starts with the offensive line. You can't have good running back production without a good offensive line. And that applies to Bijan too. I know Bijan didn't run it incredibly or anything, but I didn't watch those plays and be like, oh man, Bijan had an angle. That said, I think Algier played better than Bijan, but like it's not a Bijan played bad. Just the offensive line run blocking wasn't quite as good. But shout out to the offensive line, man. They tore it up on both pass pro and in the run.
Yeah, I mean, initially, Bijan, like those wide zone runs, just they weren't working again. Like he wasn't getting a ton of yards on it. I think he had maybe, I think total we had, 34 yards in the first half, something like that. It wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
No, it was low. And I think Tyler at that point only had one carry. And then, like you said, they bring him in the second half, and he just goes on a run. And I told Liam, I'm like, do not take him out. Like, leave that dude in there. Leave that dude in there and let him keep running through guys' faces. Because, I mean, like, that one run, I hope he makes angry runs. I hope Kyle Brandt sees that and he gets angry runs t-shirt, because I will be buying that like immediately as soon as that hits the internet. But man, yeah, just overall, dude, I mean, I was really impressed. Storm Norton. I mean, I was a little nervous about him as far as the run game goes, but he held up really good in pass pro, especially the game that Granderson just had coming off of against the Eagles was a pretty good game, and he held up against him. Really nobody. Breesy up that interior line. Breesy didn't do anything. He was having all day. So which was good, which is great. But like, and I understand you want to involve the screen game a little bit, but man, when you're getting protected like that, maybe not so much. Maybe you don't need to get involved in the screen game so much.
I think sometimes it's easy to sit there when someone calls a screen. Because, you maybe call, how many screens did we actually call that game? What, like 4 or 5? It's like in the grand scheme of things, not that many. And, you think about the Bijan screen. I went to the house. I don't care if it was called back to a penalty. That was a touchdown.
For sure.
Ray had a pretty decent screen. It's just these Mooney screens aren't working as well as we need to for whatever reason.
Nah.
I haven't sat there and I've watched the film and everything, but I haven't sat there and broken down all the screenplays with the intent to see why the Mooney ones aren't working. But either way, I think we need to shelf the Mooney screens, keep the Bijan and Ray in space. I think both those guys are really shifty and like able to make people miss and get upfield and quickly. I think Mooney has really good straight line speed. I don't know if I think of him as like a shifty guy. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. And that what killed too is like some of these stupid penalties that like the one that Bergeron had where he ripped the helmet off of Chase Young, just destroyed that drive. Like just stuff that we can't do on we can't afford to until we're not good enough to overcome some of these, you know what I mean? Not yet.
In the eternal words, we're not good enough to be assholes.
We're not good enough to be that asshole. No, not yet at all. And welcome, Mr. Saivion Mixson, buddy. How's it going? Dude? He is doing great. He's on mute though.
He is muted. See if he notices. There we go.
There he is.
Oh, you muted yourself again.
You muted yourself again. How do you mute yourself twice in a row?
That's crazy. Got Zach Robinson on the control.
I don't know. At this point, I think it's a sign that nobody wants to. That hurt. That hurt, Steven. That was unnecessary.
I didn't mean it, man. It's just for jokes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with his connection. Like, is either getting froze or
it's the spirit of Mike in the chat.
I don't know. I guess so. Yeah, Mike might be watching from Nebraska. I'm not even sure. But yes, Saivion, you muted again, buddy. I don't know, like if it's I don't know. There you go. Now you're good. I don't know, man. That's weird.
Well, I guess we'll talk through it till he gets going. Hopefully, it'll fix itself. So I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Right, that was good. So yeah, maybe you can try to go from there.
I don't know, man. Might just not be my day.
Oh, you're good now. So go ahead.
I think he's cooked. I'm gonna be honest, John. I think his mic's cooked.
I think
anyway, so in terms of the game and kind of talking about Zach Robinson, I made a little joke there about the Zach Robinson stuff. I think you're talking about the screens a little bit. I also think there were some situations where I just don't understand what Kirk was doing, especially on that final drive. Obviously Q hits the game winner, but I kept looking at the flat like every time he was throwing those deep balls when we had that final 3 downs to kind of make it a more manageable field goal. I saw him just ignoring his checkdowns on the left that were like wide open. That's an easy 5 yards. I don't really understand why Kirk was doing that. To me, that's not Zachary Robinson's fault. Like you want to still run deep throws. So if the defense totally sells out to stop these checkdowns or whatever,
sure.
Oh, you're going to totally sell out. All right, well, we're just going to heave a deep ball and get a touchdown, and you're going to lose the game. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily blame him. I just think Kirk could have managed that better. Because let's be honest. I think on that last drive, he probably could have had 2 interceptions. Is what it seemed like to me. So yeah.
Especially the last one, yeah.
Yeah, the last one was especially egregious. That said, the rest of the play calling, I thought he was a little bit more varied with some of his run game stuff. I'll have to really break into the tape to say, but it seemed like he was running more of a split between inside and outside zone. Mm-hmm. Especially in the second half. I think part of it's just players blocking a little bit better and playing a little bit better all over. But overall, I think he's kind of staying where he's at. He's not really getting worse as a play caller, not really improving a ton. He's definitely improved from week 1, but that was like the lowest bar in the world, man. Like that's
right.
I would hope so. But, we'll see where he goes next week because it's a really tough matchup for Thursday. Short week. First of all, short week. That's always tough. Division game, always tough. A good team like Tampa's good. I mean, we just saw them beat the brakes off Philly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was the final score in that one anyway? I don't remember what it was.
I don't know. I did see this crazy stat at halftime though, where it was like the Eagles had 0 yards and Tampa had 223.
Yeah, which is insane. Yeah, which is totally
insane.
I agree with you. On some of those calls, like it was better, but just some of the I don't know. It just seemed like you couldn't. There was never really a flow. You know what I mean? Like it was never just like it was just I don't know. It was just hard to get in the flow, or we got derailed, like I said, by a penalty here or there, whether it was a legitimate penalty or not. It just seemed to just it just never. Just like kind of herky jerky, nothing. It was like, nothing like that first drive last week. You know what I mean? Where we just boom, boom, boom down the field, and I know they're not all going to be like that, but I mean, there was just no kind of just, I don't know, no consistency to it. But Saivion, you look like you're good now. So yeah, you can go ahead. But what your I guess thoughts?
Yeah, man. First of all, appreciate y'all letting me on here, even after whatever the hell this was. Listen, a win is a win. I mean, at the end of the day, a win is a win. And a win against the Saints is even better. But, yeah, there's some definite conversations that need to be had, whether that's about the offense, whether that's about D. Alford, even though he did make that amazing play to get us off the field. There's a couple of conversations that need to be had, and they need to be had pretty quickly because it's going to be a real quick turnaround here.
100%, yeah. And then Stephen, was it you last time that said, or maybe it was Trace? I don't know. Like for D, it's like when you're surrounded by Simmons and Bates and Terrell and even Mike Hughes, like somebody's going to get picked on, and unfortunately, like he's been the one getting picked on, and it's probably going to continue to happen. I mean,
yeah, it's tough. Again, like I was talking about earlier, I'm surprised they didn't. Again, the one that stands out is that big completion to Olave. There's no reason D. Alford should be one-on-one with Olave. I don't care for blitzing. Like, you just can do better stuff. So, for me, that's not on D. Alford. And like I see that, like you're right. I think it was me who said that when we were doing a show last week with Trey Sean. When you're the worst player of a good group, it doesn't mean you're actually bad. Because we've seen D. Alford last year play really well. We've seen him make plays like the end of this one. It's just really hard because teams know, well, we're not going to target AJ. Mike Hughes is playing really well. Do we really want to test Simmons and Bates against our third wide receiver?
Right.
Probably not. So the easiest guy to target is D. Alford, and for what he is, he's good, but I don't think he's going to hold up if the intent of the game plan is to consistently attack him. Now, other end there is we can help him out, right? Like don't make him cover Olave, and then also if we get better pressure, it's easier to kind of mitigate how long he has to be in coverage. Just to me, a lot of the big plays we gave up was like Carr was untouched and he had forever to throw. That's how I felt.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you, Adam, what's up, buddy? In the chat, he said was Lattimore on Pitts most of the game. Dude, I have no idea. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm definitely watching the all 22 this week for sure. Because I go ahead, Saivion.
Not from what I remember. I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure Lattimore was pretty much. Thank you, David. Was pretty much strapped on. Pretty much strapped on a.
She's very pissed about Pitt's usage as well. I mean, we all are. We all are. We understand.
That's what online Pitt's talk is like right now, just yelling. But from what I can tell, I'm going to back up Saivion here. I don't think Lattimore was especially locked on to Pitts from what I could tell. That said, caveat here, when I'm watching the game, sure, I'm watching it a little bit analytically because that's just how I think, but for the most part, I'm just a fan. Like, that's why I send out dumb tweets, and I'm like, this is the worst play call ever. And then during the review, I'm like, oh, no, it was actually fine. I was just, mad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, again, y'all see me, if y'all follow us on Twitter, y'all know I tweet some, whatever. It can be, it's possibly dumb shit during the game. Like, it may happen, and that's fine. Like, it's going to happen. But, I mean, yeah, that's why we go back and watch the 22 to see kind of like really what was going on and who was covering who and what was the reason for this or that. But I am really curious because, I mean, 0 catches, 2 targets? I think it was.
I think 3 targets, 3 targets, zero catches. All of them touch the ground. That can't happen when you have somebody like Pitts on your team.
The first one went through his hands. That was on like a little glance route, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. The second one, I want to say, just wasn't like a great throw. And then the third one,
right?
That was the last target he got. Target he got. I think the second one was just kind of a, just a good pass break or something. So, can't really tell from the TV copy if he was wide open or anything. But I will say, at a certain point, there's a trend with a player. If you have multiple coaches, I know we all like to think with Matt, he was good his rookie year and all that. So, we'll see what the All-22 says. But after I thought he was pretty solid last week, kind of getting open, hopefully the film reflects that this week. And it's not a Pitts issue. It's a targeting issue because obviously we all want him to succeed. But I also think, anybody looking for him to get 8 to 10 targets a game, I think is just remanage your expectations on a week-to-week basis till we start to see that. Like until he's actually punishing people consistently and like getting wide open, I mean, I'm not sitting here expecting him to have 8 catches a game. I'll be happy with 50 yards and 4 catches or something,
Yeah, I mean, even Trayshawn said it last week. In McVay offenses, in McVay offenses in the past, like the tight end's not a super, like focal point of it. So it's like now that could change. Of course, when you have somebody like Pitts, but it just hasn't. And after 4 games, nothing's really come about it. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are just, looking on Twitter are just like done. Like he's a bust. It's over with. It's done. I don't know. We're 4 games in. We'll see what happens the rest of the season. But I mean, it's kind of tough to say. But yeah, I mean, the runs you're talking about, like it did seem like more when Tyler was running it, definitely more of a split zone type of thing is what it appeared to be. And, that's to his advantage because he goes north and south really well, and he can, once he sees the hole and puts his foot in the ground, then that's that, and then he's looking to run over people that get in his way. So, I mean, Saivion, you got anything else to add on Pitts?
No, man. I mean, there's not really much else to say. I got to go look back at the film and see like what is the disconnect, whether it is the fact that he's just not going to be featured in this type of offense, whether that's he's just, I don't know. Whatever the disconnect is, I want to see if there's an answer to it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Sorry.
I think she's yelling Pitts. It's really funny.
She is yelling Pitts. She's a huge fan of Pitts.
That was Saivion's yelling during games, getting pissed off.
Christy, what's going on? Good to see you. Hey. Adam said also the second call on Newsel was pretty crazy. Yeah,
he didn't move that ball, man. All you can see is his head look over, and then they call it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a little ticky-tack. The first one, I guess he did. Second one, I'm like, okay. But
the penalties overall were just out of control.
Agreed.
Just completely crazy. Like that holding against Jake Matthews.
Oh my God.
I don't. That's every play. That happens every screen.
Exactly what I said, dude. Yeah, you can call that anytime you want to in the NFL if you want to. If that's what you're going off of.
Even Vilma, that's what I knew was crazy. When Vilma was like,
yeah,
I don't know about that one. Like, yeah.
So let's speak on that defensive line. Saivion, what'd you think, man? The interior part of the line, against some backups of the offensive line for the Saints, 2 backups for that matter. They got pretty much worked last week by the Eagles. I did a whole 22 review on it, and you know, I kind of thought like, hey, if we come out like this, I don't think we have the same personnel as the Eagles, but I thought we could, you know, we could pull off similar type of thing, and they didn't do that. They came out initially playing pretty far off, which was allowing just chunks of yards from Kamara and or the short passing game. So they adjusted in the second half. They got better, you know, in the second half. But I don't know, man. Like I'm not a like an expert or anything, but I mean, what for you?
Neither am I, but I know that if there's a offense that's predicated on outside zone runs, the last thing you want is for your corners to be 7 to 10 yards away from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
So that even in that respect, it didn't make sense. I don't know whether or not they did not trust Terrell and Hughes to play press on the line. I'm just trying to figure out why that was the game plan going into it, because it didn't make sense given how we know this team likes to operate, at least in the first 3 games that we've seen of Clint Kubiak. So it was a little mind-boggling, but I do like that they made the adjustment and they didn't just kind of, you know, where they weren't stubborn with it. They said, listen, this isn't working. Let's see what we can do to mitigate this. And in the second half, even though I believe that part of it is the fact that Taysom Hill did not come back.
All right.
My God. I mean, it looked a lot better. So, you know, kudos to them for, you know, making the adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, I after watching what the Eagles did, I thought to myself, and that's why I put a video out. I'm like, man, this is a pretty good blueprint of what they can try to do. And like I said, it really wasn't. They didn't even try it really in the first half. It was more or less just, you know, like I said, like Saivion said, 7 to 10 yards off with the corners, and you know, kind of a light box, and they were just picking up 7, 8 yards at will, you know, with no issue. And I was like, dude, you can't continue to play like that. I mean, you switched in the second half, but like, I know y'all watched the film. I mean, I know you did. Like, I mean, I did. I'm just a fan that's, you know, trying to figure things out myself. But like, I don't know. That just didn't make any sense. And then we, you know, with the 4, like we've seen it now multiple times. Unless it's Matthew Judon, we're really not getting any pressure with 4 guys.
No,
I mean,
it just doesn't happen. Part of the issues, especially when we're doing like play action stuff, you know, we want to have our better run defenders out there in Taquan Graham, and you know, I think Eddie Goldman's been pretty solid as a run defender. You know, Onyemata and Grady, you know, also, you know, I think they're not playing as well as we would hope. But you want to have your good run defenders, but like Taquan Graham, you know, doesn't really offer you much as a pass rusher. Eddie Goldman, you know, limited pass rusher, and then your edge players, you know, I thought, you know, Ebiketie, Judon and Lorenzo, you know, they were just kind of non-factors. I don't really think they played terrible. I don't really think they played well. You know what I mean? They were just kind of out there. I mean, Judon obviously had the huge, you know, pass break and some pressures, but I'm talking more on like a down-to-down basis, you know, against the run. So it's a tough spot. And then, you know, obviously Troy went down late, which kind of sucked because I thought, you know, he had a pretty rough start, which I think kind of aligned with the interior D-line really getting pushed around those first couple of drives. Like there were snaps where Eddie Goldman off the jump was getting pushed back 3 yards by their center. I mean, I don't care who the hell you are, you're not going to be able to fill a run lane if your you know, nose tackle is getting handled like that. I say nose tackle, he's not a nose tackle, but he was lined up over at the center, so he essentially playing.
He needs something like that.
Yeah. Well, so you know, that was just hard to navigate for the linebacker. I thought Troy, you know, as the game went along, got more in the game and started making some good plays like sideline to sideline, which is kind of how the Saints want to play. You know, they don't run necessarily as much through the middle, kind of like us. You know, they have their inside zone stuff, but for the most part, they want to get on the edge. So, you know, it's a tough spot for the interior D-line, to be honest. So, yeah, I don't know what the solution is because, you know, I think we all kind of want to see the rookies. But make no mistake, I don't think the rookies are going to fix anything. I'm just more so like, well, I don't think it can get infinitely worse. So, like, if your option is mediocre player who's old or mediocre player who's young and could maybe be better, and we're seeing with Troy. Troy's getting more snaps, he's getting better. Like, the idea is here, you play your rookies, they get more snaps, they get experience, they get better. So, you know, maybe we kind of have to take their lumps early in the season, but come, you know, week 15 or 14 or whatever, if they've been playing for 10 games, you know, they're finally getting a hold of things, and we have, you know, better depth and better players and whatnot. So, you know, I don't know. The pass rush has been a major issue. The run defense hasn't been much better. So The D line is definitely the weakness of the team right now, and it's all over.
Yeah. I mean, if you've, I wouldn't be surprised on a short week. Maybe we see Rook this week. I don't know. What do you think, Saivion? Possibly.
Mm-mm.
No.
I don't think we see anybody until the Panthers.
Man,
I think that's when I think that's when they come in. I don't think that they're going to switch their game plan on a short week. I think that this week, when you have like this kind of week and a half, this mini bye that you have with the Thursday night game, I think this is when you start this, when you'll see the first remnants of Dorless and Rook Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say that with how this running game is going, I don't know if we're going to see Jace at all.
Right.
I don't know if we're going to see Jace at all, because
barring injury,
barring injury, of course, knock on wood. But I then the only reason why we're seeing Bertrand is because of what happened to Nate Lamon. So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
And as of now, we haven't seen anything on what happened to Troy. We know he went out with an injury, but we don't know. Hopefully, it's not bad because, I mean, he did, after a rough start, come out. I mean, I think he led the team in tackles. Obviously, he had the interception for a touchdown. And he was going sideline to sideline. If y'all watched that all 22 I did with the Eagles,
he was
and Zach Baum was doing that for the Eagles. He was all over the place, going sideline to sideline, lining up different spots. And I mean, that's what I was hoping that we would use him to do, and he did a pretty good job of it. I mean, and you have to remember, this was his 10th start as in the NFL. So, I mean, some folks are already done with him as well, which I get. People want to be impatient about it, but it's his 10th start in the NFL. So, I mean, he did fairly decent. Do we want him to get better? Of course we do. That's still that's still the goal. But I mean, overall, it did pretty damn well. And we definitely missing Landman though, and there's no doubt about it. In the run game, you're definitely missing him without a doubt.
Yeah.
And John, what's up, buddy? He said, "What's up, guys? What's up with our offense?" We don't know.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure that out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, even look, Kirk said in the post game, I think he said we have a lot to fix, something like that, which is, that's pretty clear. I mean, we knew it was going to take some time to gel. We just knew that. But I just, by week 4, going against a pretty depleted defense, they lost to Mario Davis. They lost Willie Gay Jr. during the game. They lost Tyrann Mathieu during the game. I just thought possibly, we'd have a little bit easier time against those guys. And then we did in the previous games. And then, it just didn't work out that way. Saivion, you look like you're deep in thought.
Can I say something that stays between us guys? Can I say something?
Nobody else. No.
Nobody else. Chat. Don't listen.
Mm-mm.
Listen. That first throw when Cousins was trying to hit, I think it was Drake London on that wheel out on that wheel route off the motion. The first thing I said was, man, I can't help but think, what if Penix was there throwing that football?
Oh no.
I'm sorry. I'm like, I saw it sort of die, and Drake had to come back and get it. I'm like, yo, what if Penix was there, just kind of putting that thing out there? It may not have been on target, but I'm just saying, that's the first thing that came to my mind, and I feel bad for saying it, but at the same time, it's like when you get a quarterback that high, that's the first thing that comes to mind whenever any of these deficiencies come up. Kirk Cousins does not look like Kirk Cousins yet, and I'm starting to get worried.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're a Falcons fan and through these first 4 games, if you haven't had a moment or two where you've been like, man, I wonder what Penix would have done there, then you're lying. Because I mean, I think we've all thought about that a few times. Man, what? And I said, and I felt bad about it, but watching Kirk move, man, it's like watching my 75-year-old uncle with a knee replacement. It's bad. It's really slow. It's really, really slow. So I mean, when you take that element out of the game, I mean, and I know, again, we're 4 games in. I'm not crapping on Kirk. I still think there's ample opportunity for him to get better. But that just is what it is. He's not going to get out there. There's the defense does not have to worry about him running. And get out of the pocket. So that's one less thing they have to worry about defending. The arm strength thing. Yeah, there's definitely a few that you're like, yeah, Penix probably could have fit that one in there. But So Steven?
I mean, to Kirk's credit, I'm with you because, first of all, I'm just a guy who likes to watch quarterbacks play, especially ones we haven't seen as much.
Yeah,
It's
you
more
do.
interesting to watch someone play. Like I'm a sicko, man. I was watching Boise State tape the other day and look at their quarterback, and that guy's not getting drafted probably.
What is wrong with
Hold
you?
on a second. Wait a minute, Steven. You're watching Boise State with Ashton Jeanty, and you said, what's the quarterback looking like? No. What are we doing?
First of all, he does flash all over the tape. That's probably the best college running back I've seen.
My God.
Probably like even better than Bijan. Dude,
Might be better than Bijan.
He was running all over. That guy's insane. But yes, Saivion, I have a disease and I just watch really mediocre quarterbacks constantly. So
that is insane.
I get a lot of crap for it from Aaron and a bunch of other people, but it's fine. So I definitely wouldn't mind seeing
Boise State quarterback's name.
I can't remember. He wasn't very good, so I stopped watching. I didn't sit here and watch him when he realized he was bad, but I did check him out.
That's wild. Hopefully, what's up, man? It's a great team divisional win. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, man. It's a divisional win. We're 2-2, a hell of a lot better than 1-3. Because, like I said, man, at 1-3, we would be having a very different conversation. I mean, it would be shambles right now.
It would be literal bench Kirk conversations because the season's doomed.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
you buy yourself another week to fix it. That's every time you win one of these ugly games, you just buy yourself another week to fix it.
Yeah, and
it's kind of like what we saw with, I don't want to make the comparisons. I don't think Kirk's obviously been as bad, but it's what we saw with Dez. Like when Dez was winning, and we were 2-2, we were like, okay, he's made some mistakes or whatever. We can keep playing him or whatever. You lose a couple, then you win another one. You win that Houston game. Let's give Dez a little bit more run, and eventually you reach the point where you're not winning enough, and it's like, okay, we got to switch something up. So if we come out of this next stretch when 2 of the next 3, I don't think anybody's going to sit here and say bench Kirk Cousins unless he totally melts down. But at the same time, if we come out there and we lose to Tampa, God forbid we lose to Carolina, man, like it's going to be a lot of talk. Not that I think we will, but if it does happen, I certainly don't think it's impossible. I mean, based on how we looked, I mean, if you told me Carolina beat us, I wouldn't be shocked.
That was my next question for you. If we come out of this 3-3 and we lose to Tampa, but we beat Carolina, going into, I think it's Seattle, and the way that Geno Smith is playing right now, what are we? How are we feeling? Like, do we feel okay? Because that's kind of the not the meat and potatoes, because I think this is the meat and potatoes of our schedule, but that's sort of like that winnable stretch before the bye.
Mm-hmm.
So how are y'all feeling?
I guess for me, we talked about this on the last show. To me, if you win. The goal for me for this 3-game stretch with Tampa, Carolina, and Tampa was to win 2 out of 3. You needed to win 2 out of 3 if you wanted to salvage your season. So we still got to win one of the next 2, but I think if we do that, we're fine. And then, it does get kind of tough. You're hoping to see actual improvement to kind of have some optimism because we play some, better teams. I mean, I think the Saints are a little bit fraudulent, if I'm honest. I mean, I wasn't really buying into the whole week 2 stuff. I don't think they're terrible, but I mean, do I really think they're all they were hyped up to be when they were 2-0? No. And I think we've proven that because they just got their ass beat by Philly, who then got their ass beat by the Tampa. And then, we beat Philly, so Philly's not particularly great either. So, we definitely need to win these next 2 because our schedule gets some tougher teams. I think nobody is looking at Dallas, even with their struggles, and thinking this is a team we can walk in there and kind of ease to a win,
Yeah. And do y'all know who the Saints have next?
Who do
the
they
Chiefs.
have next?
The Chiefs on Monday night.
Yeah. It's gonna be in front of everybody. That's crazy.
There is, yeah. So to answer your question, Saivion, I'll feel okay. I won't feel great. I mean, I won't feel like warm and fuzzy. I would love to go 3-0 in this stretch. I mean, that'd be ideal. But 3-3 with the, I guess, tougher part of your schedule out of the way, as long as we're making progress. I mean, as long as it's not. I don't want to see us going backwards. I don't want to see like the offensive performance this week. I mean, I think, and this was I just happened to see it on Twitter, and this was per EJ, the Atlanta ATL Stan. He said Falcons won a football game without an offensive TD today, the first time in over 20 years that's happened.
Since September 26, 2004.
Crazy.
Since September 26, 2004. That is wild. Literally 3 days to the day.
Yeah. So I mean. I'm not going to. I don't know. It's. I think there has to be context to it. If we're improving and we're in these games, and it's as long as we're not, like I said, taking a step back. And I mean, I definitely want to see improvement out of the defensive line, though. Like that's my like we said earlier, that's kind of my biggest concern at the moment is just getting that consistent pass rush. Because we said in the preview show, I mean, Eric McCoy is their best offensive lineman. You know, they're missing Cesar Ruiz as well. They're starting right guard. So it's like, I mean, if we can't generate some pass rush against these guys, and Trevor Penning got owned last week, and I know we don't have a Jalen Carter, like I said in the preview show, but my God, man, like something, like getting some type of pressure.
Anything.
Literally anything. You know, like I said, outside of, and thank God for Matt Judon, but like outside of him, it just wasn't happening, man. We just can't we can't get there on a consistent basis. So I mean, it's that's just the biggest worry in the back end. You know, stresses the back end, of course. You know, and when you look at time of possession, I mean, like I think we were 11 minutes or 10 minutes again this week. Let me look at team stats here. Yeah, we held the ball 24 minutes again, and they had it 35. And almost consistently, almost every week, we're looking at like 10 to 11 minutes less holding the ball than the other team. You know, and that's not really a recipe to win either. You know, you're not giving your offense a lot of plays. You're not, giving your defense time to rest. You're putting them back out there. Our third down efficiency was pretty much cheeks again, 4 for 11. So, better than 2 for 9, I guess, sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, barely. But 4 for 11 is not great. And then they were 7 of 13. We didn't go for, we didn't have any fourth downs. We ran 51 total plays there at 70. See, we got to reverse that. For us to really be successful, we got to get more plays, man. We had the 1 sack and penalties.
D. Alford
D. Alford and the blitz. Yep. 9 penalties for 76 yards, 14 first downs to their 25. I mean, it's wild that we won this game. It's a wild.
We should not have won this game. We should not have won this game at all.
I mean, thank God for those 2 special teams TD, a defensive TD, and freaking Koo, the man that's on our thumbnail this week. I mean, ice cold, man. Yeah. So I haven't seen the people that were really worried about him in preseason. They kind of disappeared. I don't know what happened. But they kind of left. Kirk was 21 for 35, 238 yards. Of course, the 1 interception. Tyler 8 carries, 60 yards, 7.5 per gain, which again, I don't know. Saivion, how do you get both of those guys? I mean, like it's almost like it's an impossible question to answer. Both guys are really good at what they do. They're just different.
I'm sorry, I was looking up something. I didn't hear the question. It's actually really cool. But go ahead.
No, with Tyler and Bijan, there's not really a good answer to how you really share that. Like when they're both really good at what they do, just different. I mean, you just go with who's hot and go that way or what?
I think that's what you have to do because it's quite frankly like Bijan is your feature guy. Number one because you drafted him top 10, and it's the first time that somebody's drafted a running back top 10 in like forever. So based off just simple financials, you kind of have to get him the football. But at the same time, it's like I feel like they tried to kind of take Tyler Algier almost out of the game plan to I don't know, appease Bijan, which I don't think he cares. No. But it's like you don't have to do that. This thunder and lightning thing, this is what teams look for. This is what teams this is what teams search for.
They love to have it.
And we have it. So for us to not utilize it, it just feels like, especially when Tyler Algier, whenever he gets the football, he rattles off 8, 9, 10 yard. Like it's almost an explosive play every time he touches the football. Like whenever you have a guy like that, it just makes it so much more difficult to keep him on the sidelines, So they have to figure out a way. They have to figure out a way to get the both of them involved.
Yeah, like I said, Tyler just running through. And that kind of confused me too. Like he was just destroying folks on that drive, and all of a sudden it was like, all right, no more of that. Let's pass the ball 3 times. And I'm like, what do we like? At least make them prove that they can stop you. Like that. I mean, the man's coming at you full speed. Like you're already beating them down. Like keep doing it. Keep doing it. Bring him. I know you got to rest him for a second or whatever, but we ain't got to get cute. Just do what's working, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate they brought in Bijan. Obviously the Bijan call should have been a touchdown. So I think they managed it right. Like I don't have an issue with the screen call itself. It clearly worked. But it's a weird balance because you're counting boxes and stuff, and like sure, the run game's dominating, but then if they make an adjustment, it's like, okay, well, now the more efficient thing to do is this versus just stubbornly sticking with the run. I mean, how many times is Arthur Smith, we had the drives where we just ran down their throat. The other drives, like, yeah, no shit, they stopped us. They realized we were just going to run it every down. So it's a hard balance for an offensive coordinator. I think if it doesn't work, you're always going to be wrong, and that's kind of the unfortunate part of it. But I will say I definitely was like, when they took Algier out and put in Bijan, I was like, what are we doing, man? Just like keep running Algier until they stop him. Once they stop him, like, okay, all right, they tackle him for a loss. Like, I'm not saying like stop using him, but like, okay, reevaluate. All right, they clearly made an adjustment or something. Maybe they sent like a run blitz or something. We can punish them. There's stuff to do. I think just it's tough.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Liam?
What's up, man?
He said what's up to Saivion as well.
Liam?
Demond says Zach Roberts needs to pay rent for the next month.
Kirk needs to pay his rent, man.
Yeah, Kirk.
Both of them.
At least have him a nice steak dinner, nice bottle of wine, something like that. I don't know, man. Yeah, something like that. Holy smokes! Liam said Niners forced 4 fumbles a day. Okay, well, cool.
I saw the pick 6 that they had.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Any word on Troy? No, I haven't. None of us have seen that I know of, and we probably won't find out, I guess, until probably Wednesday. I don't know. Well, they have to say it on Tuesday this week, right? Because it's the game on Thursday. So we'll know Tuesday. Hopefully something, man. We don't need him out against that team. Baker went off today, by the way.
Shout out Baker, man. For someone who's basically written off and had all that slander thrown his way, I like seeing him kind of balling out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. D-line was getting no push. Nope. Yeah, as usual, man. I say cute kid, adorable. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Fellas, what's going on, King Rich? He said, fellas, what's good? We got a W. Nobody has thrown in the middle of the field yet. We need to tighten up the pass rush, the cover scheme, and Tyler Algier is a key to unlocking this offense, in my opinion.
I agree, man.
I don't disagree with anything you said, King. I'm with you 100%. And, yeah, nobody's really testing, out Simmons or Bates. I can't blame them. But, yeah, they're definitely hitting the sidelines. And we kind of figured that, Lave's going to get his, even with the hurt hamstring, like he was going to go out there and get a few catches. That was fine. I mean, same thing with Shaheed, but it wasn't egregious. I mean, it was just the way that we were playing it, the way we set up earlier in the game. Like we talked about, it's tough to play that far off the ball when they're running like that and make stops and get them off the field. That's difficult to do. JJ the Great, what's up, buddy? He said, what's up, guys? What a win. My first Falcons game couldn't have gone any better. That's awesome, dude. Also, our buddy Myler was in the building too. Father Mullet, he was in the building down from Wisconsin. Yeah, he got he was in the end zone. He sent me a few videos. It was awesome. Hellrell said extend Mr. Koo. Yeah, man.
I think he signed a 5-year or something, right? It's signed another
something like that. Delilah said keep Tyler way more consistent, in my opinion. Way more consistent, in my opinion. I have always said that. Wooden went edge in the draft instead of RB. Yeah, I mean,
speaking of my word, but it is what it is. He's on this is the thing. Once they're on the team, man, like you kind of have to make peace with it. Because I certainly didn't like the Bijan pick. I didn't really like the Drake London pick that much at the time either. So you just got to make peace with it. It is what it is. Root for your guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Chris said Shirley wants Pitts to get him the ball. Yeah, I know.
She does. She really does.
Delilah said, where'd that? My bad. Dixon, what's up, Larry? He said Pitts runs lazy routes, guys. Really watch Pitts when he turns out of his breaks. I'll be watching that on 22 this week for sure.
It's a criticism I've had for him for a while that I think I don't know if it's an effort thing. It also could be an option route thing where they're letting him slow up at the top of his break and then go whichever way. I'm not in the room. I don't want to throw accusations out when I don't know exactly what's happening. But I will say, historically, watching Kyle Pitts in every year, I never feel like he really books it out of his breaks. I think he's kind of like people call him a long strider. I don't know, man. I've seen long striders. They still look pretty fast on the football field. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the tape I watched last year, I mean, like, and especially, I've talked about it before, but especially the Jets game. But I mean, we know he was dealing with that injury last year too. But it was kind of it was worrisome at that game for sure, because I came out of that game going, man, he really doesn't give a shit, or he's really hurt and not telling anybody, because it was easy to see that this was not a full speed at all for what he's capable of doing, especially that first year he had with Matt. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm curious. I can't wait to watch. Well, sort of can't wait to watch this 22 and kind of see what's up. And then Larry says, shout out to the special teams who won this game without a doubt, man.
Hodge recovered the fumble, right?
Yep, Hodge recovered the fumble. And,
Daryl Hodge got it. Yep. Let me tell you guys something, man, because this is crazy. So since 1981, there have been 3 teams that have won since 1983, there have been 3 teams, including us, that have won without scoring a touchdown, a passing touchdown, or a rushing touchdown, and the score has been like 50 points or more, right? Guess who lost all 3 of these games?
Oh, man.
No way it's the Saints.
No way
The Saints have lost all 3 of these games. Hold on. It gets even better. In 1983, the score was 26-24 for the Los Angeles Rams. It's eerie. It's eerie.
That doesn't even seem possible.
Awesome.
Wow.
Man, I hate this guy. That's awesome.
I mean, I do have the logo upside down. So, I mean, there's a reason for that. MW, what's up, buddy? Yeah, what's up? Y'all rise up? Yes, sir. Man, it's the Dixon wasted play calling is sus, to be honest. Kirk isn't the problem, in my opinion. We have running the ball personnel, and our OC refuses to lean on the run, putting Kirk in shotgun 75% of the time, not helping him at all. I'm in between, dude. I mean, I've just the film that I saw on Kirk so far. It's not. I'm not going to say it's like Ritter, but it's there's similar things to where like he's making, like what Steven said earlier, like he whether he's not seeing him or not, like he's passing up some options sometimes that are wide open to go maybe for a longer pass, a more explosive type play, whatever it may be. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a combo of both right now. Zach's trying to get his footing, trying to figure things out. I'm sure the shotgun is trying to give him just, his mobility issue, trying not to allow pressure in his face to be that immediate, even though, like I said, the offensive line did a fantastic job today. I mean, there was no excuse today. I mean, he had all the time in the world to go find somebody. So that's another thing. Like, on some of those where he was holding the ball forever, I'm curious, like, was the coverage that good? Or our guys just not good. I mean, I can't wait to find that out too. But I do think, leaning on the run with those 2 backs, like Saivion said, man, like the 2 backs we have, teams would kill for those 2 guys and they would use them. It's like they would utilize those guys. So like, I would love to see more of them, but it's like at the same time, we've got to be, on the field more. We got to be sustaining drives. You can't be in these third and long situations, and actually have to convert, man. It's crazy. Liam said go watch the Bama tape. Oh man, dude, I'm telling you.
Want to talk about that game real quick?
Yeah, you want to talk about that, my brother?
that one, yeah, dude, that was. Man. I don't even. I mean,
classic.
Dude, look, when somebody. My buddy texted me when we were up 28-0 and was like, man, stop. And I was like, I'm not even comfortable. Like, I'm not confident. I'm not comfortable. And at the end of the game, I texted him, I said, this is why I am the way I am. Maybe the Falcons really were the culprit and caused me to be that way. And it's just kind of
possibly,
it's just kind of just spread to Bama and stuff like that. And so I don't care if it's the Braves, if it's, I mean, literally until it's the final out, until the final seconds are 0, like I'm never, ever comfortable. Like I just never am. And Georgia did a hell of a job coming back, man. Like I didn't think they were out of that game at all. I saw everybody like throwing Beck underneath the bus the entire game and like, wanting him gone. And all of a sudden he comes back and does what he does. I'm like, I don't know. Like I
still wasn't good.
Wasn't good.
But
no, but
I'll be real. Someone who watches a lot of quarterbacks, and I came into the season with Beck, and I'm going to toot my own horn here. A lot of people had him quarterback 1. I was like, I don't know, man. I could see a lot of guys overtaking him very easily. I thought he was a good quarterback prospect. I still think he's a solid quarterback prospect, but I never really got the whole like he's undisputed QB1 stuff. And that's probably the worst kind of meltdown game I've seen from a quarterback in a while. He's really lucky that he played better in the second half. If it would have kept going like the first half, that man would not be getting drafted. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, NFL teams care so much about, like, perception and, like, what do you do in the big moments?
Well, that environment was crazy. I mean, like, you get down 28 and those people are going that crazy. And, I mean, the alcohol's flowing. And, I mean, come on. I mean, like, dude, but Ryan, MF, and Williams. I mean, like,
man, he hit the dirty bird in his zone. He wants to come to Atlanta, man.
I'm all about it. You bring it, dude. To that the final touchdown. I mean, to make that catch and then speed up and then stop on a dime, and do a spin between the 2 guys.
Nasty.
I mean, that was. I mean, I don't. That was Vickish, man. That was freaking Vickish type action right there. That was crazy.
Yeah. And also, do you guys know that he's only 17?
17 years old.
It's wild, man. Someone's going to draft that kid at 20.
To be a senior in high school.
Yeah, that's gonna be wild.
Look, man. I'm sorry. That's the only 17-year-old that I know that can buy his own beer. Because ain't no way he's only 17 years old.
Isn't that wild?
There's no way.
I mean, just wild. And they could stop Milroe. I mean, they had no answer from Milroe in the first half. They did a better job in the second half, definitely. But in the first half, it was like I think Herstreet said it, or somebody said it was like that's what you like on a video game. Like that's what you like. Nobody can stop the guy. You just go there and run, and like, or he's the best guy on the middle school team, and nobody can stop him. Like that's basically what it looked like.
Underrated thing for Milroe for me is I think he's just done a much better job, like staying in the pocket and he's always had a good deep throw.
Yeah,
he used to be way more quicker to just scramble. I think he's more patient in the pocket. It's like before we had the clock where it's like, okay, 1, 2, 2.5 run.
Yeah.
Now he's more willing if the protection's holding up to kind of sit back there and heave it deep. So I thought, credit to him for someone who. Bama fans are ready to run him out of town, after some of the games y'all had, the year before.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. So, it is what it is. But I'm happy he's playing better.
Yeah. I mean, it helps, not too bad when you're like the fastest guy on the team, too. It's kind of crazy as well. But
on the field at any good point in time.
Yeah. Exactly. John Thompson, what's up, man? He said, rise up, man. He said, what the fuck is next? That's right. Well, it's the Buccaneers, and, they're playing pretty damn well right now. MacTown, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Liam said Rashee Rice reportedly that he tore his ACL. That sucks. Man. I saw him getting carted off, but I didn't know what had happened to him, man.
Yeah, it was the one where, like, Mahomes ran into him. It's tough.
Yeah. Kent Davis said, Koo is king, man. He definitely is. He definitely is, man. He said, I'll be the second 17-year-old that can –
My dog. My dog.
He has no lack of confidence.
I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I could not be happier that we won this game. Like I just at the very end, it's like I don't know. Do y'all just feel? How do y'all feel? Like, I mean, how y'all really feel? I mean, I know y'all are happy, but like it's just a weird because you watch the game, you see so many issues going on. It's like, man, we've got to get this fixed. Like we were so lucky to be in 2-2 right now. We could easily be 0-4. A couple plays go a different way. We could be 4-0. Like it's just wild. I know it's the NFL, but man, it's just like it's I don't know. It's just crazy.
I'll say this: there's no bad wins in the NFL. We just saw the Jets lose to the Broncos, where they only passed for 60 yards, 10-9. And Bo Nix had like a negative average for his yards per attempt or whatever. The Jets lost to that. That'd be more inferior. Bad wins in the NFL, man. I don't care who. These are all pros. Every team has the best player on their college team or whatever. Like these are. There's no gimmies, and especially when you get in divisional games. Like we're all talking about how we should sweep Carolina. Carolina's not a gimme either, man. Like that's a divisional game. We saw that last year. It's hard. So. My overall feelings are I'm happy as hell we beat them bums. And then secondly, I think giving yourself another week of survival to try to fix problems is more important to me than like, if we looked good but we lost, that's how I feel. Like I'd rather look ugly and win and give ourselves another week because I expected us to win like 9 games this year, to be honest. Once we added Judon and Simmons, I thought maybe we could win 10. I was like, okay, add a win there somewhere, right? So I think when you look at it from that perspective, they're about where I'd expect them to be because you got a new offensive coordinator, quarterback coming back from injuries, a lot of young players, a lot of new players. So, the goal for me is to basically tread water till about midseason, and hopefully by then Zach Robinson has had something click and the offense starts, playing better. And once the offense actually starts playing better in the latter half of the season, that's when my expectations are to actually like play well, win a lot of games. But if week 8 we're 4-4, I'm okay with that. That's not crazy to me. I'd be fine with that. So I feel good we won. Another week try to fix problems.
Yeah, Saivion.
Going into this season, my one thing was stay as close to 500 when you get to the bye as possible. Even if you're like 5-7 or 6-6, if you're there, if you're above 500, I feel like that's a great place to be in when you get to the latter part of the schedule, even though it does seem a bit tougher than it did when we first got here. But I will say that like he said, like Steven said, there are no bad wins. Like I mean, that Denver New York Jets one is just a perfect encapsulation of just what can happen in the NFL. Like you have to take every win as they come. But we knew it was going to be a rough start. We're looking for improvement, and we're looking for wins as we improve. Like last year, I think we could have been okay with, it's improving from week to week, but the product doesn't look the same because we had Desmond Ridder there, and you kind of thought that, okay, if he's at least looks like a guy, we can work with that. Mm-hmm. Here, we're not looking for that. We paid premium money to already have a guy, so we're looking for the offense to be more cohesive as the season goes along, and right now it doesn't look that way, which gives me worry on a short week. We can get into that later, but hopefully, I don't know, it'll just click, whether it's this week, the next week, whenever, and this offense looks like it's supposed to, because the defense is doing its job, and special teams has definitely been doing its job. So just a complete team win is what we're looking for. I think this is what we've been looking for years now, but I think that's just what we want. It's just one complete team win.
Yeah, I can piggyback off that too. Yeah, I mean, for me, seeing that improvement. I mean, to me this week the offense didn't look as kind of together as it did against the Chiefs. And that could be, a number of reasons, but I'm not going to crap all over Zach Robinson just yet. I mean, it's his fourth game, that he's called in the league. So, I'm going to give him some grace and I have seen him, he's making adjustments, throughout the season. He's not like he's sitting there and just being stubborn. I'm going to keep doing this and to keep doing this. Now, if we keep seeing, screens to Darnell Mooney that's not going anywhere, then I'll start wondering a few things. But I mean, I'm going to give him some opportunities to definitely get better. And like I said, it'll be interesting seeing the film, kind of like, okay, was this more on Kirk? Was this more on Zach or whatever, as the game went on. But yeah, I mean, we all kind of, like you said, Saivion, it's like we expected a rough start, but I think because you have a veteran in Kirk, you were kind of expecting maybe a rebound quicker, or just like, okay, this is going to catch on quicker. Like you weren't expecting Ridder to all of a sudden just become a different guy. But, it's like we've all seen what Kirk can be and what he's done in this league. And it's like, okay, we were expecting a level of competence, just kind of like just overall offensive kind of togetherness that we haven't quite seen yet, I guess you could say. So the fact that we pulled away the win, I could care less how we got it. We got it. Like it was, I would have preferred a lot better offense. I would have preferred some touchdowns. Like you said, we had one taken off the board. It should have been a touchdown. So there's that. But again, you don't want it to come down to the situations where you're relying on that to bail you out at the end. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm really interested to see how we play the Bucs because, like I said, they've outside of they lost to the Lions, right? And that their only loss was to Detroit. Yeah. And I think they came back in that game too, right? I mean, that wasn't that was a pretty close game. So I mean, overall they've played pretty well. Baker wasn't himself during that Detroit game, but other than that, he's played really damn well. So being able to stop him and hopefully sustain, like I said, just sustain drives, man. Like we got to see some sustained drives, and whether that's running the ball or whatever, man, like just keep your defense off the field for a little bit, like actually get more close to either winning the time possession battle or at least getting close enough to be in the same, not double digits behind at least, that'd be ideal. Harrah said that's a clean jack. I appreciate that, buddy. Definitely one of my favorites. Cam said, what's up, man? He said that Jets-Broncos was the Falcons-Panthers game from last year. Without a doubt, man.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah, that was – I can't imagine watching that thing. What's up? Georgia Texas boy said, Adi Facamon was good. Let's fucking go. Good team win. Yeah.
It's always good when you beat the Saints, man.
Absolutely. He said, Tin Cam said, Carr was more effective in this game than Kirk. Kirk looked like last year's Carr. Time together may be the issue. Yeah, and that's true too. I mean – they haven't played together that long, so trying to figure that out too. And go ahead, Steven.
I was going to say, we're talking a lot about what we could improve on, but I want to take a second. Like, what to you is on offense and defense, one of each. What was the most encouraging thing like you saw from this game? Because to me, assuming Troy is healthy, I think we saw things click a little bit for him, and he is so central to what we want to do from a coverage perspective. It's not a coincidence the play after Troy Anderson went out, that they immediately threw a seam ball over the middle to a tight end. That's not a coincidence. Caden Ellis was in coverage. Caden Ellis isn't terrible in coverage, but this is where it comes to, teams going game planning. They know Troy's usually pretty good in coverage, to be honest with you. So they're not going to try to target that player. So that's where it's kind of like the unsaid effect where, like, yeah, you're not seeing Troy get an interception. Well, he got an interception in this game, right? But, like, that was more Judon, right? You're not seeing him pick off people in coverage. But, when he's manned up with these players, they're not getting the ball thrown to them because teams don't want to attack him in coverage. They want to attack Ellis. They want to attack Landman. So, the more he's able to improve his run game allows him to be out there every single down. If he's out there every single down, we're going to be better in both ways. If we can always, play the pass and run, that's why these 3-down linebackers, are so big. They're kind of a dying art in the NFL, to be honest with you. It's hard to find good linebacker play across the league. So for me, that's like the big one for defense. Then for offense, I thought Drake really did a good job this game. Like, I know he had like kind of one pass that we really wish he would have came down with. There was that fade ball, and then there was another one that was kind of outside. To me, I think we could have thrown him a better ball on kind of the out route. I thought it was a little bit too inside, and it gave the player time to come break it up. But I think overall, him and Kirk seemed kind of clicking, because I think Kirk realized, I can just throw this guy the ball, and he's going to come back to it, make a tough contested catch most of the time. Because there were some times, last week I felt like he didn't throw the ball when he could have to Drake over the middle and stuff, because it looks like a tight window. But, Drake's really good at coming back to the ball, attacking the football in the air, and making these kind of contested catches. So that to me is the two most encouraging thing: Kirk's connection with Drake getting better, and then defensively, Troy Anderson, hope he's healthy, seeming to have things click a little bit.
Yeah, Saivion.
On defense, I don't know what the hell happened to Mike Hughes, but that is a totally different.
Is he our best tackler? Is he our best tackler?
He may be our best tackler. That is a
completely different player. On Kamara, right?
Yes, goodness.
Cool,
I mean,
man.
he is that hit that he had on Kamara was something special. That's what I'm saying. Just like, he's playing with a relentlessness that I just simply was not expecting.
If he keeps this up, I'm getting a damn jersey because I owe it to him.
You feel me? Like,
I owe it to him.
Wouldn't
like,
blame you.
I dragged the dude for so long last year. It's like I've already apologized 17 times. Like, I'm going to buy his jersey if he could keep this up.
You need 17 more because apparently he's here, and I'm with it. I'm completely fine with it. On offense, thank you, baby. On offense, I mean, the offensive line, man. What the offensive line did today with both Caleb McGarry and Drew Dahlman out. I mean, you can't do anything about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm very excited. Like she said, like I'm real excited. There's absolutely nothing else that you can do when you have two guys out, and you go up against a team that is basically built to stop the run, and you have guys like Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson running for 4 or 5 yards a carry. You know what I mean? And the pockets that Kirk Cousins was throwing out of, I mean, just
all day.
There were times where he was just pristine in that.
Oh, dude, making every check or every read he needed to make.
Oh my goodness, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, Demario Davis not being there, I'm sure that had a part in it. But still, it was just it was incredible, man.
Yeah. she's so funny, man.
Hey, listen, all I know is she cheered when he said offensive line, so yeah, she knows ball. Appreciate the
there you go. Yeah, no, mine. I mean, yeah, dude. Like, you took mine with Mike Hughes. I was going to say Mike, but I'll say, just to be different, I'll say Jesse and Justin, just because you're not seeing them, and there's a reason. I mean, like, they're just not even, like, their presence alone, man. Like, they're not testing that middle of the field at all, And I mean, that's fantastic for Justin to come into the defense and get that, like, acclimated that quickly. Awesome. And I know he's a smart guy, but I mean, just to see that happen has been great. Offensively, yeah, offensive line, fantastic. And Tyler Algier, man, just reminding everybody, especially Zach, that, hey, man, like, I'm here and I'm going to run through folks. So don't forget about me and put me in the game and leave me in the game whenever I'm destroying folks. That's for sure. She said, what's going on, Bridgetta? She said MVP is Koo, yep, and the Fox affiliate in Chicago for switching for let me see them get the W after Chicago, and that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Glad they did that. That's
MVP is Koo. Can't overstate how. Man,
100%.
We've been blessed to go from Matt Bryant to Koo, man. Like, that's That's as good of a transition as you'll see across the league. I was never worried when Bryant went out there to make a kick, and I'm never worried when Q goes out there.
Yeah, and Georgia Texas boys said this team showed grit. Yeah, I mean that's
that's
the thing. Like I'm not worried about them ever not being in it. Like they're going to give it the full 60 minutes regardless of what the score is or what the situation is. I just you just hope the execution gets better. I think from both sides. And the defense has done about as well as they could. Like I said, knowing the fact they've been on the field the majority of every game for the most part. Like the offense just hasn't been out there long enough. So it's kind of is what it is. Liam said wrong team, but can we talk about the block thrown yesterday from Bama Jordan? That was Jam Miller, man. Holy smokes. Y'all see that?
I did. That's crazy.
He stepped up and just blew.
That was such a fun game.
Oh, yeah.
Just overall, just a great game.
Yeah. Instant classic for sure. I mean, it's like, and I've kind of realized that, the metamorphosis into my dad is pretty much almost complete because like I used to watch my dad like yell at, the Braves and the Falcons and, everything and just get pissed off and like, throw shit and whatever. And I'm like, Dad, it's fine, dude. It's just, you'll be fine. Like it's fine. It's cool. And yesterday, 28-0. I'm bitching about something that will happen. And Liam was like, dude, what are you doing? Like we're up 28-0. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, man, this is bullshit. Like that shouldn't have happened. And I'm like, what? And it just hit me afterwards. I was like, oh my God. Like that's literally what my dad, like literally my dad. Like I had
for your eyes,
Like it's like I've almost the transition's almost complete.
What freaking insurance company is that? Is that when you become your parents?
Oh, dude, yeah, Progressive. Progressive. Yeah.
The commercials are kind of funny. I like them.
That's it's probably my favorite ones out there. But dude, yeah, just just wild. But yeah, and the same thing today is of course. Ark, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. So rise up, fellas. I was in the crowd. Just a bit hoarse. I'm sure you are, dude. I am sure you are.
It seemed like there, man.
Yeah. I heard the stadium man was rocking. I heard a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Saw some clattering after the game, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I think overall, the crowd was fucking awesome. I could hear him on TV going crazy. I'm hoping to attend a Falcon game myself this year. I was able to go to one last year. It's just now that I'm a bit closer, trying to go. I go to the Chargers game actually in December. That's probably what I'm looking for. So
yeah, we're shooting for that too because I got to double check, but I'm fairly certain the Bolt Bros are coming in town for that one. I got to double check.
Let's go.
But if they are, we're definitely going to try to go to maybe like do something with them, as far as a podcast, something like that. But that'll be fun. I haven't even seen it. What's the score in that game right now? The Chargers and
I kind of tuned out as we hopped on the pod.
Yeah, I don't even know. But I think the Chargers were up by 3 whenever we came on the show.
And they lost.
Damn it.
17-0. Dan, you just
can't bet boogeyman. That damn
what was it, 17-10? 17-10, was it?
17-10.
Oh my gosh. It never didn't score after that? Holy smokes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully the Chiefs can keep doing that next week against the Saints, and
please beat them, man.
That'd be great.
The Eagles did us a solid by beating them, so Chiefs, please, do the same.
Please.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, it's almost 8:20, and like I said, the Ravens and Bills game about to start. So, any final words, guys, before we close this thing down tonight? Steven, start with you.
Yeah, man. We talked a lot about a bunch of different stuff to do better. End of the day, bask in the win, man. Just bask in it. We beat the Saints. That's all that matters.
Yep. Saivion.
We're still big brother. That's all that matters. As long as we're still big brother.
Hey.
Let them know.
Got to keep them in their place every now and again.
56 and 55. That's what the record is now.
Carr has thrown 3 pick sixes against the Falcons in his career, so let's make it 4.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that stat.
As our just says, man, we that. Exactly.
We that.
Exactly right. Yeah, and I'll just add this, like for you guys who've watched or listening back on the podcast. Hopefully we didn't come across as negative because we're not. We're very happy. It's just that there wasn't a ton of things during the game where you can be like, "Oh, that was really awesome." What I mean? There wasn't that we won the game, which is fantastic. How we got there though was not exactly ideal. You know what I mean? Like it was when you score no touchdowns on offense. Like there's obviously some stuff you want to talk about that can improve. The defense, like I said, not coming out exactly how you wanted it after the Eagles doing what they did and kind of, giving you an idea of how to defend it. Whether or not they thought we could do that is a whole other thing. But like I said, I don't want y'all to think we're negative because we're not. We're very happy we won. It's just that again, it wasn't the most smoothest game. So we're gonna talk about it. And when stuff like that happens, we're not just gonna come on here and kumbaya and be like, okay, everything's great and rainbows and butterflies. We're gonna talk about stuff, and hopefully that's stuff that gets fixed. So that's all. But we're 2-2. The Panthers lost. The Saints obviously lost. The Bucs won, but that's okay. We can go into Tampa Bay this week and call it a day. And but that's it. So yeah, I mean, and we will. I think the preview show we're gonna have Kenny G, your boy Kenny, back on the show. It's been way too damn long.
Shout out Kenny, man.
Let's go.
Kenny's awesome, man.
Yeah, he'll be back on Wednesday. We previewing the game for Thursday, and I have no idea if we're going to do the recap show Thursday night after the game or Friday. I have no clue. This is going to be a busy week as far as trying to figure out all these shows and everything. But yeah, man, Steven, again, man, thanks, dude. Third time in like 7 days. Appreciate you.
I'm a man of the people.
Hey,
I go where I'm needed.
That dude right there. That's what they say. That's a designated hitter. That guy's ready. Right. That man is on call.
Right. And Saivion, same for you, buddy. I appreciate you coming on and with your lovely daughter, of course. I mean, like,
Absolutely.
We say hi.
Hi.
Hello. We found out that she was a huge fan, or not a huge fan of Pitt's usage, and
huge fan of offensive line. That's what
really a big fan.
Huge fan of offensive line. Exactly. Let them know.
That's right.
Let them know. I'm pretty sure that was McGarry or something that she just said. I'm not sure.
Probably was. Yeah, we missed him too. We did miss him, but Storm did a good job. But all right, folks, we will catch you all Wednesday, man. Enjoy the win. Enjoy the Sunday night. The rest of whatever's left of your weekend, and watch Sunday Night Football. And we appreciate it. Y'all drop a like, hit the subscribe if you're listening to us. 5-star review on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you can. Much love. We'll catch y'all next in a few days. Peace.